Going live, going live. I'm live. There we are. Okay, isn't this what an adventure? What a grand adventure. I put my Mac award now has my 1992 Mac award hanging from my neck. I want to thank my wife very much for organizing that, which she did. I found a nice. Hold it, Bill. Wake up, Bill. Bill, wake up. Bill. Bill Crow has written in, I don't know the significance of it, a series of Z's across the screen. What's the problem, Bill? If a beat, I don't get it. I don't understand. Well, I have to check the volume on YouTube because sometimes it's too loud and the bass doesn't sound good. And God bless it, I want the bass to sound good. I don't care about the rest of it. I don't care about anything else. I want the bass to sound decent. I always put the volume up too high. Check, check, 1, 2, 1, 2. You'll turn your screens up. You'll turn your sound up if you need. And that'll be perfect. Perfect. Sing along. Let me tell you something as we start the show. It's a little something I thought you should know. So I will tell you as we settle into place. It's impossible to sing and play the bass. You're a lovely group of people, you deserve the courtesy of knowing what you can expect of me. I've practiced it, but I will not mean a thing, cause it's impossible to play the bass and sing. You see, the bass is fretless, it's not like a guitar. On bass you spend your whole life wondering where the hell you are. It's got no little markers, just the fingerboard so bare, and lots of notes which often are not there. Then when you start singing, you've got lyrics on your mind, and the notes on bass become impossible to find. To remember lyrics, melodies, bass lines, and chords is no less a miracle than Lord's do. So as I make 1,000 errors, sit there and be kind. Do not throw tomatoes at me, keep this all in mind. Remember this is serious, remember this is art. Remember this or I will fall apart. Then I'd have to pray to God to come and intercede. And he'd only sit and laugh at my wanton greed. She made the rules for molecules, atoms, time, and space. And she knows it's impossible. I can play without singing it. To sing and play the bass. Oh, I forgot my little mood light. There's a little mood light that has to be on. Excuse me for a second. Watch this changes the mood. Watch how the mood just changed. See how nice that is. Sing and play the bass. Okay. I found a lyric today that I never wrote a song to. And I decided, I worked it a little bit, worked on it a little bit. But it's dedicated to my brother, John. I don't know if you guys were around the other day when John called in, but it was very funny. And I got to thinking about him. This is a poem I wrote about him a long time ago. My brother was a Vietnam vet, came home from Vietnam and had a little house in Baltimore. And one day he took me down to his garden behind the house. And right where the corn was growing, there were these little small green plants growing up in between the corn. Well, that's what the story's about. My brother John had a house in Baltimore. What house is it? I think it's better like this. My brother John had a house in Baltimore where he lived in simple fashion. My brother John had a garden in the backyard that he tended with the greatest passion. I think I'll slow it down. One day my brother John took me on a walk down the garden path well worn. When I asked him about the green plants growing between the corn stalks, he said, "Son, I call that corn. I call that corn. I call that corn. Finest stalks of corn you've ever seen. I call it corn. I call it corn. Ears of corn with pointy leaves of green. My brother John spent 2 years in Nam, though he won't talk a lot about it. He says with all the stress and strife of living army life, you need a pastime, no doubt about it. Folks, now my brother John spent 2 years in Nam, though he don't talk a lot about it. He says with all the stress and strife of living army life, you need a pastime, no doubt about it. He calls it corn. He calls it corn. Growing up to the skies, he call it corn. Calls it corn. I mean, really, what else would you call it otherwise? Now my brother John can build a house. My brother John can build a house of I wonder if it's too fast. My brother John can build a house all by himself. Brother John can build a house my brother John can build a house by himself, do it all alone with his hands. So it don't surprise me that he would find a way to cultivate the riches of our lands. Having funny green weeds growing corn. Oh man. I can't figure out the timing of it. Having funny green sticks growing between the corn stalks would usually make the farmer feel alone. This is the tempo that has to be together. Now my brother John can build a house by him. John can build a house. Oh, I had it this afternoon. I don't have it now. My brother John can build a house all by himself, do it alone with his own two hands. So it don't surprise me that he would find a way to cultivate the riches of our lands. He calls it corn. He calls it corn, growing clear up to the skies. He calls it corn. Just what would it be? Just what else could it be otherwise? Having funny green weeds growing between the corn stalks would usually make a farmer forlorn, but my brother John only smiled and said with pride, "Son, I call that corn." He calls it corn. See, once again, I find I cannot make a song. It's very difficult to write the lyric and then assume that you're just going to quickly punch out some kind of song on it. It doesn't work. That's why songs usually take me a couple months to write, because you got to sit down and work it and work it and work it. No, I didn't do that with this. I just found the lyric, which I love. It's about my brother's gardening habits. But the song still has to be written, and you still got to work at it. And that's the way it goes. And in the same vein, here's another song I found, but I actually know it. I don't think I've done this one yet. When I was 17 years old, 14 or 15, I first heard Ray Brown with the Oscar Peterson Trio. And I just swept away. I never heard the bass played like that. And many years later, after Ray Brown passed away, I started really reminiscing about him because I knew him well most of my life. And most of his, I knew him when he was 27. I knew him till he died at 76. So that's 50 years. So we knew each other both of our lives. We knew each other most of both of our lives. Now, there's a complicated sentence. Anyway, so I wrote a little piece about him. It never gets performed. I've never recorded it, never performed it, but I have practiced it on and off for years. I'm going to make no bones about reading it. Oh, well, now, if the truth be told, I was about 15 years old when I first heard of the gentleman named Ray Brown. He was playing with the Oscar Peterson trio. Man, that music meant the world to me. Oh my, it turned my life around. How did anybody play the bass like that? Every note so big, so true, so fat, and so in tune. It was a revelation. So I brought every record Ray Brown made, and I went everywhere that Ray Brown played. I was filled with inspiration. In 1959, I heard Ray Brown was going north, gonna settle down, start teaching in Toronto. Well, a fire lit up inside of me, and I knew where I had to be. I got myself up to Toronto, pronto. But up above the Canadian border went, but up above the Canadian border, winter gets so out order. You can't imagine how cold Toronto gets. Bodily warmth is seriously lacking. Bass violins start seriously cracking. Less inspired souls might have regrets. The Arctic winds come screaming through, your fingers freeze, your lips turn blue. Toronto is one very chilly town. Your body aches, your teeth start to chatter, but never mind, it does not matter, because you are there to study with Ray Brown. Every afternoon, I'm in the wrong key. Every afternoon, the setting sun would let you know the day was done. Oh, those winters could be tough. And as the evening frost began to glisten, Ray Brown would play and we would listen. We never did get enough. I never did get enough. I never did get enough. Well, now, if the truth be told, I was 61 years old when I had to say goodbye to Ray Brown. He always seemed to stand just a little bit above us. It meant the world to so many of us. Walk that walk, Ray Brown. Talk that talk, Ray Brown. Most of all, adios, Ray Brown. Started in the wrong key. Well, now, if the truth be told, I was about started off the wrong key. There should be like 2-hour rehearsals before every show, and I never do. I never rehearse before the show. So that's messed that one up, messed this one up. Is there anything I know how to play? Yes, somebody requested this song. Woke up one morning I woke up one morning in a gray and cold motel room. Did not know where I was at all. It took a while for I could remember. It was the 13th of September. And outside was the first cold day of fall. I worked late last night. The party went to 5 a.m. I must have played the same song 50 times. The people had the time of their lives. The men all danced with each other's wives. Bartenders pour their drinks and squeeze their limes. We played society music. Oh, society music. Play the songs that people want to hear. Foxtrot, two-step, old step, new step. All the songs of yesteryear. The party comes to order. You start off with cold porter. The people dance, they're never shy. High society dancing, it's like thoroughbred horses prancing around the ring to catch the judge's eye. I can't remember the next line. Da-da-da-da. Oh, screw it. I can't remember the next line either. I guess I had to rehearse everything before I play it. No. Just drew a blank. The ladies in their latest fashion. The men conceal their passion. They drink and they dance the night away. The music's fast and music's cheerful. The men and women, they whisper earfuls. Somehow I never hear a word they say, 'cause I'm so busy with society music. Whoa, society music. Play the songs that people want to hear. Old step, new step, foxtrot, two-step. All the songs of yesteryear. Foxtrot, two-step, play the songs of yesteryear. The evening drags on by, you get so tired that you could cry. Cannot wait to climb down off that stand. Finally comes at dawn, the trumpet player's chops are gone. It's time to close that Steinway Grand. But I'm too tired to go home, too tired to roam. I got to find myself a motel and go to bed. So I find myself a place, I lock my car and I grab my bass and I go inside, lay down my weary head. And I dream about society music. Oh, society music. Play the songs that people want to hear. Old step, new step, foxtrot, two-step. Oh yes, songs of yesteryear that I dream about. Society music. Oh, society music. Play the songs people want to hear. about all those dancing women, the songs of yesteryear. Dream about the wood party and dream about the rich people and their riches. Dream about all those dancing songs of yesteryear. Do, 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 do. Oh, oh, oh. Somebody requested this. Before I sit down, I'm going to play it. I probably know this song. If I don't identify it by name, those of you who know it will know it. And the computers, they won't be able to interpret a bass playing this song. Thank you. No, please. Get back up to E. Don't you wish you'd taken up the flute? People ask me every day. They really can't conceive it, they really don't believe it, that anyone would choose the bass to play. Anyone would choose the bass to play. Don't you wish you played the clarinet? People ask me with a laugh. I tell them yes, I actually tried to play the clarinet until I accidentally broke the thing in half. Accidentally broke the thing. Well, you're not going to break a clarinet in half, actually, because it consists of 5 parts: the mouthpiece, the barrel, the upper joint, the lower joint, and the bell. And should you accidentally drop it, you would be hard pressed to actually get it in half. 3/5, 2/5, but not in half. When I was 6, I took up the piano, but as 6-year-olds find so much to distract us. I really, really hated reading music, and I always cried when it was time to practice. So I took up the guitar. Hear that, Bruce? I played guitar. Just beware. It was much more fun by far. And I began to solve the riddle. But my brother was a genius, and he mastered the guitar, and very soon I was back on second fiddle. At age 13, I finally found the bass, and I knew I had potential. At age 13, I really loved the bass. Everything it did was so essential. You play a note, it rings out deep and true. Everything you play is up to you. You stand there all alone, completely on your own. Don't you wish you played the violin? You should put this big thing on a dial. Let me see you fit that underneath your chin. Ha 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 ha. The bass strokes are such a ride. Don't you wish you'd taken up the flute? A question I've heard since God knows when. But I've been lugging basses round since I was a boy, and I do it all again. Yes, I do it all again. I do it all again. I do it all again. Okay. I figured after a pretty chaotic start, I should do something I knew. I should play some song I really knew to try to save the day. Les Paul always thought the use of the bow and the upright bass sounded like a foghorn. I rest my case. Oops, no, I'm not going to. Well, but you see, he's now proudly wearing, I'll hold so everyone can see it. Mr. McAward is now proudly wearing his 1992, which I found yesterday. If you were watching, I went into my up into my trophy center there, which contains a lot of golf trophies, and they give you golf trophies like they do kids who in school. If you even enter, you get a trophy. But this was the Mac Award from 1997. Then I found this up there, and this is a Mac Award from 1992. So I've been raking in the winnings for a long time now. 1992, that's almost 30 years ago. And this guy, I mean, never mind. But see, isn't that cute? I'll put it that way so it doesn't distract everyone. And while I was up there, which I'm not going to show you where it was, it's on top of cloth here, I found this. I said, my gracious, what, where did I win this? And it says, it's KT-Com, County of Court of Honor. Okay, what is it? And on the back it says, James Chancellor Leonhart by the Chesapeake Conservatory. It was my uncle, James Chancellor Leonhart's. It was some kind of award he got for being involved with something, being Irish. I don't know whether he was a Mason, so maybe this might have been. Oh no, there's a picture of the college. So this is a high school. This was where he taught at City College, because here is a little outline of, I think, City College. In Baltimore. I think that's what this is. I'm sure that's what this is. Well, wouldn't you know it? Uncle Jim. I'm going to sing Uncle Jim just in a minute. But first, let me just check. Woke up. Hi, Janine. Hi, good evening. Hi, Judy. Jeannie, would you do customs? All right. The new metal covers up the lack of genitals very nicely. Thank you. Right. Oh, that's right. It does. Look I've made it a little bit lower. We didn't. They've noted that well, I didn't have to repeat that because everybody heard it who was looking. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, now you can all see. One of my viewers, Bill Crow, who I should really start reading. Bill, I should start reading a story or two, just from your books or from the paper. Because Bill writes an article for the musicians paper called, I think, In the Band Room or From the Band Room or something. I read it, I forget. I never forget. Never remember the title of anything. Thanks for Alone Together, says Nancy Winston. And I just got to think of a name now. I'm very proud of this, but I don't have a name for it. So perhaps we should have a little contest in which you win nothing, but we find the name of this fella, because he's obviously a very important guy. Very important. Cynthia Stanley Crane is here. Liebman Kenny is back. Nancy was, hi, Nancy. John Plant is watching. It's not my fault. Barry Colstein, Flip Oaks, not Phil Oaks, Flip Oaks. Linda Wells, George Stell. George was the last gig I had before the coronavirus thing hit. I called him up and said, George, I'm not making Saturday night. Probably saved my life. The next week, everybody was shut up. Joe Cahoon, Joe, how about me and Lenny on that flight to well, all right, can you play bass aboard a plane? Look, this is fun now. Spencer Reed, replying to Kathy, hey. Oh, they're talking to each other now. Just like somebody said, just don't talk during the bass solos. One of my greatest regrets is that in that frenzy after Madoff, I threw out most of my slow show videos, so I have nothing of. Somebody here was in the. Jorge Calandrelli is watching. What? Name what song that's from. What record is that from? Jorge, if you don't know, nobody knows. It's the introduction to let me see. Alcenera. Who wrote Alcenera? I don't know the title of it. I only know the writer. It was in Portuguese, so I couldn't tell what. But that sounded pretty good. Yeah, Brazilian, definitely. Something or other. Yvonne Lentz goes on and on. All right, I'm giving it away. You should sing and play the piano. Christopher Lentz. Yeah, I should. But it'd be worse than the bass. I should learn how to sing and play the piano. Sometimes I think I got nothing in common with the rest of the human race. Completely out of place, like a piece of dirt out of space. Sometimes I think it's all couple songs on piano. I sort of know that one a little bit. Not much of a piano player. I write on it, but I never learned to play anything on it. Can you play bass or playing? Oh, look at the. How about me and my Cynthia? Cynthia, for you, I will. George Stell, and well, no, I'm just going to. Barry Colstein, Spencer Reed sounds better today. The bass sounds really full, though left-handed. Really? Is it left-handed today? Last week on yes, my left hand. Last night I got it. Somehow I got it right. Hey, Phil Palumbi, how are you? Nancy Winston, hey. Nancy Winston says, hi, Cynthia Crane. John Plans is watching. Stephen Spencer Reed, sorry about the inside comment, Jay, as I didn't think it was, they're all visible. That's all right. I never understand much of what's going on around me. Well, we've had some serious requests, and we're going to meet them. But Oscar, Oscar, that's his name. Forget it. His name is Oscar. It's my Oscar. A viewer on the West Coast has requested the following selection. And a viewer on the East Coast has selected. So this song got written because I was thinking about. Now, see, I could play piano on this one, but I couldn't play much piano. And I'd get very bored with it very quickly. I could play B flat minor forever, but I can't do much else with it. I'm sort of playing coming back to the United States, thinking about what happened if I had everything on the customs sheet that they used to hand out in the 90s. So I wrote the following selection. Here I am in customs, inexplicably detained. And from getting angry, I will have to be refrained. Yes, I've read the regulations. What could the problem be? Why, oh, why are you detaining me? Okay, perhaps I did pick up a couple things abroad, but this kind of harassment really ought to be outlawed. You're making such a big deal over minuscule details. So much fuss about a box of snails. Yes, I have been in Nairobi raising sheep and cattle. Yes, I read the regulations, all that pointless prattle, but so much fuss and bother about a bag of soil. Frankly, making my blood boil. I've got 2 alligators from the hot Brazilian swamps. A testy little chimpanzee that screeches, bites, and stomps. An otter from the Maldives, a goat from Kathmandu, a cockroach from a hut in Timbuktu, a little baby llama from the mountains of Tibet, 6 or 7 ostrich eggs that have not hatched quite yet, mosquitoes from Botswana, a parrot from Peru, and you won't let me through. You confiscate my passport. Now that is such a drag. Just because you found a couple earthworms in my bag. I've read the regulations. What could the problem be? Why, oh, why are you detaining Now you're getting all upset. I do not understand. This is just a Paraguayan pigeon perching on my head. Is it just some monkey droppings I found in Zaire? Oh, and now you won't come near. You want to check my briefcase? Go ahead now, please. What are those? Nothing. Persian bugs and fleas. a little Irish whiskey, some camembert from France, turtles, killer bees, fire ants. I bring back some souvenirs and you all get so frantic, like maybe I should toss them all right into the Atlantic. I've read the regulations. What could the problem be? Why, oh, why are you detaining me? Why, oh, why are you detaining me? Why, oh, why are you detaining me? This felt like one of those segues you see on Choice Music. If you live in New York, I don't know how far Choice makes music gets, but it's a really kind of interesting channel. It's channel 1989 or 1990 for those of us with 7,000 channels. And they play a lot of real nice music, but they segue from one to the other. And a little sign comes up saying, "Did you know that Jay Leonhart parked his car on West End Avenue 2 weeks ago and hasn't moved it?" Jay Leonhart went to 73 different schools before he finally went into music school. Anyway, this song got written as a result of my being asked to go to Los Angeles to play a convention. They asked me how much money did I want, and I told them I wanted $10,000. They said, "How's $500?" All right. I came back with $7,500, and they immediately responded with $500. So I decided I was going to go for less than $5,000, and in fact, we settled for $500. So they bought me a first-class ticket on TWA. Got aboard the plane, sat down in first class, and a little white-haired gentleman came on the plane and sat down right next to me, and everybody was absolutely stunned at who was sitting next to me. Sitting next to me in the plane. Like they thought maybe we were together or something. We weren't. I enjoyed the concept. True story. All true story. Take my seat aboard the plane, and what is this I see? Leonard Bernstein comes aboard and sits right next to me. First class New York to LA, some things just work out right. I'll be sitting next to Leonard Bernstein this whole flight. Maybe I should just act like I do not recognize him. Be real cool and do my best not to antagonize him. Now we're rolling down the runway. Next stop is LA. I'm nonchalant like I ride next to Lenny every day. Naturally, I turn to him against my own advice. Introduce myself and find that Lenny's very nice. Soon we start to chat and drink and talk about our lives. We talk about our children and our lives. But what a lovely fellow. What a lucky day. Me and Lenny side by side, New York to LA. Soon we're sitting, chatting, drinking, talking like the very best of pals. Talking music, life, and art, death, and root canals. Now he's interrupting me, but really that's okay. Cause he's a lovely fellow and he's got a lot to say. I recite some songs I wrote, he recites them back. For poetry and music, he seems to have a knack. He tells me that his new show closed and now he's feeling beat. And he's not used to dealing with defeat. But what a lovely fellow, what a lucky day. Me and Lenny side by side, New York to LA. He does the London Times crossword, 10 minutes and he's through. Does the puzzle with his pen, I do not have a clue. What an intellectual, but a warm and friendly guy. We talk about the world below as we sail through the sky. Finally, I feel the airplane starting to descend, and I know this lovely day is coming to an end. Put our trays and seat backs up just like you're supposed to do. Land and bid my friends a fond and to you. But what a lovely fellow, what a lucky day. Me and Lenny side by side, New York to LA. What a lovely fellow, though really, I must say, I've not heard from Lenny since I left him in LA. Not a goddamn word from Lenny since I left him in LA, in LA, in LA, in LA. Oh my voice is changing right before our eyes. And that song used to be played in D minor. I want to go up to E minor. I just start using falsetto. Oh well, it's getting a little high. Either I'm not used because I'm not performing, but I'm performing every night here. That's the whole idea, is to keep my voice from falling apart. I have a couple pictures that it your best. Great. Gino Frank. Merci, you're welcome. How about the 585 Star Trophy? Well, Al, you must have tuned in late because did you see it, Al? And did you see that I was fooling around and I found another one from 1992. This is what the little chintzy little thing, but it's gold plated. I think it's gold. I do think it's gold. I think it's gold. But this is from 1992, and this is from 1997. Now, what happened to me in those years in between, I wonder? What a slump, a 5-year slump. Now, well, what are you going to do? Did I share this picture? I love this picture. I saw it today. Excuse me, Oscar. Out of the way for a second. And this is for the YouTubers. You guys see this? That's Milt Hinton, Bobby Haggart, me, and Chubby Jackson. Well, both people can see it if I do it like this. Both sides can see it. Look at that. Excuse me, Oscar. You're gonna have to. Here. And that's. I don't know where that was taken. It's some jazz party someplace. And I got to know all these guys. I was friendly with all of them. Milt especially. I wrote a song about Milt, which I'm not going to perform now because I know I don't know it, and that's one I refuse to blow. Here's another one I saw. Oh, here. Here's my favorite new little song. Oh, can anybody see it? No, it looks like, is it backwards for everybody? Well, it says, somebody you can read, drinking can cause memory loss. Drinking can cause memory loss, or even worse, memory loss. I just like this guy. He's just happy with his bourbon. He's so pleased with himself. I kind of like that guy. And here's a great picture my daughter sent me up. So, they're stuck here in Corona City here. And she and her son occasionally go out. They live up near the George Washington Bridge, and this is Vaughn here with his friend Ruby there. They're out underneath at the lighthouse, the little red lighthouse, which has had books written about it, just under the George Washington Bridge. But that really does give you a sense of the George Washington Bridge. It's nice I can get both of you in this picture here. You see it there. Oh, here's another. I've been going through my photos, obviously. And here's a great one. I love this one. It's not too clear. But there's Vaughn sitting behind the horn section of the Steely Dan band at rehearsal at the Beacon Theater last year, sitting there casually playing his flugelhorn. He's learning to play the trumpet, and he gets to hang around with the best. That's I don't see who's going to see who that is. Well, that's Michael. Michael leaning over. My son Michael leaning over in the middle. Yeah. How the way it clears up. Michael here. I guess that's Jim Pugh there. And maybe I forget. There you go. That's nice and clear. Anyway, it's pretty. Yeah, and here's one I take enormous pride in. Like I'm just going through the photos. There's 600 million photos I find on my what's it called? Photos in Mac. And here's one I'm very proud of. Dave Brubeck and I had the same birthday, but I was 20 years younger than he was. So in 1904, we met. We were in an airport in Texas, and all of a sudden we saw each other, and he knew me. I'd never worked for him, but he knew me, and I, of course, knew him. And so we took this lovely little picture together. Isn't that terrific? I'm extremely proud of that one. And the last picture on our thing will be, people keep asking me, who is this Tomoko Ono you keep talking about? Well, she is the Oscar the Grouch. Very good. How about the 585 star? Yes. And here's Tomoko Ono. We were someplace and she was doing her imitation of Yoko Ono. And that's what came out. She's a funny little person, that Tomoko Ono, and a brilliantly talented human being. Is there one more? Is there one more here? No, I guess not. No, that's enough. Somehow I wanted to tell you, but I can't remember. Fukushi is watching. Everybody's watching. Great photo. Thank you. Saw Dave Brubeck a few months before he passed. Yeah. I never saw him live. I never saw him live. I never played a note with him. I was I'm thinking, but I can't. The sound is better today. The bass sounds really full, though left-handed. Thank you, Spencer. That's all I care about. Tomoko Ono Farnham is watching. Tomoko is watching. We've got a lot of good pictures around here. George Rutan. Val Hawk. Hey, Val Hawk, how are you? I'm glad you didn't change that $500 part to $50. No. You mean just for now? No. We're still keeping the. Yeah, thanks for loving the ink, Phyllis and Bernie. You mean you're leaving? Oh, no, leave. It is 8:02. Where has the time gone? Awesome. Christopher Smith says, thank you. Linus Wirch. Great to hear you again. I haven't tuned in for a couple of days. Did you play Problem recently? I know you did that with somebody, with Bucky sometimes. How about it as a little tribute? Philip Nemworth. Thank you, Phil. Philip Nemworth. How are you, young man? Cynthia, love it, Jay. Cynthia. Oh, wow. Chubby Jackson. Yes, Mitch Ellis is watching. Ricky Berger. Joyce Lyons. Hey, Joyce. How are you, kiddo? Spencer Reed. Why can't I remember that again? Tomoko Onum. Oh, my God. She just saw her picture. Valerie Smalkin. Watching. That's my sister. Graham Dector. Graham. How are you, man? You're still one of the greatest guitar players I ever heard. No, Tomoko Onum says, no. She writes when she sees, she doesn't want me to show this picture. No, she says, no, don't show it. But, she's in New Jersey. I'm here. May not see her for months. I took my dad to see Brubeck with Mulligan, Spencer Reed, Mulligan, and Desmond. Lucky I was. Yeah, I never saw him. I only met Paul. I met Paul, and I met. I used to meet him in Bradley's. And one time in Bradley's, I got to tell you this before I go. I was sitting there playing the bass with John Bunch, and Charles Mingus comes in, sits right down, and he couldn't be nicer. And he loves the playing. And we sat and talked, and he would come in all the time. And when I was playing there, we'd sit and talk. And I tell you, I had never met and he was very encouraging. Yeah, man, you sound good. Yeah, man, good, like good, did this, good this. Boy, when people tell you that, who you respect and love, that they like your playing, you never want to quit, and you won't. And that's why I'm not, and that's why I'm here tonight, because I can't quit. All right, well, I have a request for one more song called "Problem." You'll pardon me, I have to squint to see because my glasses are what do they call these things? Adjustable, convertible, where you can see a long way off and you can see close, whatever it's called. The trouble is that anytime you want to look at something carefully, you got to go like this because you're losing the bottom of the lens to read those teeny little. I'll talk to you later. Barry Colson. Hi, Jay. Stay safe and thank you once again. Thank you, Barry. Thanks for that bass. I told you Paul Gill has that bass. I bought the person, Barry Colstein here, runs the Colstein Bass Emporium out there in Long Island. They've been fixing and selling basses to everyone for, I guess, 60, 70 years. And he sold me George Duvivier's old bass, which it was a beautiful instrument, but it became too heavy for me to play. And so I sold it to a young man named Paul Gill who has it and loves it. And Barry was the one who sold it to me. Anyway, Stephen Goldberg, progressive lenses. Thank you. Progressive. Shows you how progressive I am. Bifocal. No, Cynthia. Progressive, but thank you. Thanks for doing it. He wants me to do problem. That's when I have to close with problem. Linus is asking me for problem, and he gets on the Linus Wersch gets on the has a live show occasionally, just plays the clarinet. It's beautiful. Yes, this song has been played by George Shearing, by Johnny Pizzarelli, by a lot of people. This is what they call almost a semi moneymaker. Now you'll note, I got rhythm, I got rhythm. It fits exactly to the chord changes of I got rhythm. It goes, me, oh my, I've got myself a problem. Yes, indeed, I absolutely do. Me, oh my, I've got myself a problem. And my problem is you. Don't you know I never saw it coming when this feeling snuck up from behind me. Oh my, I've got myself a problem. I must have been blind. You and I were taking it so easy. We were going to be good friends. A walking, talking nice and light and breezy, but that's not where the story ends. Cause now you see, I can't still think about you. Want somebody to tell me what to do. Me, oh my, I've got myself a problem, and my problem is you. Do, 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 do. We're taking it so easy, we were gonna be good friends. A walking, talking, nice and light breezy, but that's not where the story ends. Cause now you see, I can't still think about you. Want somebody tell me what to do. Me, oh my, I've got myself a problem, and my problem is you, yes. And my problem is you, yes. And my problem is you, yes. And my problem is you. Okay, I survived. I've survived. I remembered lyrics I'm supposed to remember. I couldn't play the ones I'm not supposed to remember. But I'll keep working on John's song. I'm going to have to turn it into a real song. That's the trouble. The song I did in the beginning, they're not real songs, and you think you can just turn them into songs. No, you can't. You don't know the lyrics. You don't know the song, and there's too many obstacles. So, folks, when you want to write a song and perform it, even for your little friends on the internet, learn it first. Learn it. It's. Did you ever see Daybreak Sun's band Digital Dolphins? No, I never saw that band. I know Chris Brubeck. He and I played. I know him pretty well. But everybody's saying goodbye. It's 8 o'clock. Everybody's got to go someplace. So I'm going to bid a fond farewell. Goodbye to all the YouTubers. Leave the site. Yes. Oh, it's a cancel. No, I'm going to do it officially. I will speak to you all tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow. Listen, you can assume, unless I say no, I'm going to be here every night because I need to do this. I need to play the bass. I need to practice my music. And I need to be in touch with all you folks. Chris Lentz once saw Yoko Ono on 57th Street. Did she look like this? Did she look like that? That probably was her. Okay, you all. See you later. Bye-bye.